Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick video here. When I was reading the Bible, something in Chronicles really stuck out to me, so I wanted to inquire about it. And this covenant of salt. Okay, so let's read a little bit about what is a salt covenant. Okay, what is a salt covenant? Let's check it out. Here's Tim Daniel Bernard. Okay, so there you go. March 27, 2020. What time is it? 2:07. So you see how God works. Okay, so this is what his take on this. So a covenant is a central concept in Judaism, like the Torah. Later tradition made clear that the people Israel have a special relationship with God, and the Jews have acquired the epithet of the chosen people. Though Jewish particularism need not preclude other peoples having their own unique relationships with God. This is Rabbi David Hartman. Okay, so Hartman. This is the living covenant. Okay. So there are several distinct covenants with God in the Tanakh, including with Noah and all humanity, with Abraham and his descendants, with the Jewish people through giving of the Torah, with Aaron and his priestly descendants, and with David and his royal house. Okay, so I don't know if I told you about the guy Raymond Robinson. He was electrocuted, by rescuing birds. He tried rescuing all these birds, okay, and he was electrocuted because he climbed up on a pole. Okay, and something crazy happened to me here when he was, the guy had no face, Charlie No Face. Okay, so it sounds kind of stupid and corny, but something happened to me. Some kind of event happened to me down by where I'm from, okay, a while ago. Okay, it was like some kind of supernova event. It seemed like something like, just happened. And I was immediately like just entering into a different realm. And part where I was at, okay, were these called the Green Man tunnels. Now, if you know the Green Man, okay, the Green Man is Osiris. Okay, Osiris. So, and in these tunnels, this guy would hang out, Ray. Okay, this guy would hang out. But these tunnels were filled all with salt. All with salt, which was really strange. But that's neither here nor there. So the law here is clear, okay? The use of the word covenant, beret, is a puzzling, and exploration of this phrase can teach us about the nature of covenants with God and beyond. So we know the new covenant that we are involved in, okay? God has put his laws on our hearts and on our minds, in us. Okay? So in Numbers 18:19, all the sacred gifts that the Israelites set aside for God, I give to you, to your sons, to the daughters that are with you, as a due for all time. It shall be an everlasting covenant of salt before God, for you and your offspring as well. Surely you know the God of Israel gave David kingship over Israel forever to him and his sons by a covenant of salt. Okay, so Rambam suggests on our verse in Leviticus that the phrase refers to the requirement for salt and sacrifices as the covenant itself. And then other verses are compared to emphasize their long endurance. Because there is a sacrificial covenant, the Torah also uses this covenant as a model for other covenants. Okay, so, all right. Yeah, the notion of an enduring covenant, one that continues, is particular. Okay, so this guy's saying here he suspects that covenants have a link to salt. Okay, and he's saying that salt might, have like, due to its preservative qualities. This is why, this is what God means by this. So the establishment of the enduring covenant is like salt, that it endures, it does not rot. So that sounds right. That sounds right. Remember, Christ said, "You are the salt of the earth." Okay, so salt is in fact mentioned in reference to covenants in several ancient Near Eastern sources beyond the Bible, and this too may be well because of its preservative qualities made it the ideal symbol of perdurability of a covenant. Okay. Well, so salt also played a less figurative role in some ancient covenants. Okay, it was a key ingredient in meals that were eaten on the establishment of a pact. Let's hear this guy's explanation. So, in the essence of salt is the power of water and the power of fire, which signifies the two of the divine attributes on which the world is established. That's interesting. The attribute of compassion and the attribute of justice. Okay, so let's see here real quick. And for this reason, it is called the salt covenant of God. Just like the rabbi said, God saw that humanity could not endure with justice alone. So God combined it with the attribute of compassion. Relatedly, salt preserves and destroys. So it preserves meat for a long time, gives flavor to food, and also destroys, as vegetation cannot grow in a place that is very salty. So this commentary serves to highlight two important features of covenants, for they are powerful forces. They must be held in balance to harness their force for benefit, not for harm. Okay, so not very much is there. Not very much is there at all. Let's check out these. Okay. Okay, so here's an interesting explanation. The term covenant of salt is indicative of the everlasting nature of the relationship between the children of salt and their Elohim Yahweh. And when we hear the term salt, the understanding is that things that Yahweh addresses are eternal, enduring, never changing, abiding forever. All salt covenants then are eternal, eternally binding on the sons and daughters of us. Regardless of where they are to be found, regardless of whether a physical temple stands on the Mount Moriah, okay, or not. So here's another few answers. The covenant that God makes with man are perpetual. Okay, so the people participated in the sacrifices by eating of them as well. And those sacrifices were seasoned with salt. Hence, I favor the emphasis provided by the Baker Encyclopedia of the Bible. Okay, and he's saying it is a common phrase among Oriental people who considered the eating of salt a pledge of fidelity, binding them in a covenant of friendship. So that's interesting. So they say of friendship. So God says whenever you make a covenant, whenever God changes your name, whenever you step in a relationship with God and you become one of his children, you are no longer a servant. You are a friend. You are a child. You are, and we are all friends. So this is the way somebody else sees it. Okay, they're saying here, God provides the salt in from the earth, and we exchange it with Him in an offering. So he says, let's remember this though. Around 3,000 years ago, salt was like gold, rare and only for the wealthy. So let's see here. Let's read about this. First, let's look at, salt in general. Okay. So transparent and colorless in crystalline form, rather like ice. Crystallizes in an isometric system, usually in the form of cubes. Soluble in water. Okay, so slightly soluble in alcohol. Okay, so let's read the qualities of salt. Salt is good for seasoning, but if it loses the flavor, how do you make it salty again? You must have the qualities of salt among yourselves to live in peace with each other. Okay, so you heard it right here. Christ says it right here. You must have the qualities of salt among yourselves. Okay? So in the same context there, in the same discussion, he mentioned the purifying effect of fire, which burns away impurities, leaves behind the things of value. So it's interesting. He's talking about fire and ice, okay, in this battle. So here's Paul saying here, let your speech always be with the grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how to answer every man. For everyone here, it says this in Mark, everyone here shall be salted with fire. Okay. Salted with fire. And every sacrifice shall be salted with salt. Now this is interesting here because here in Leviticus, they're putting salt on these meat offerings, on these flesh offerings. And here we are in the New Testament. Christ is doing the same thing. He's salting the flesh with fire. So that's very interesting right there. Anyways, so I just wanted to do a quick video about this, and yeah, it's very interesting. So salt and light. Salt and light. Fire and ice. So anyways, the number of salt is 322. That's the number of God. And I just wanted to see this picture real quick because I never seen this picture. This is a crazy picture. This is, so salt has the ability to soften hard water and improve the taste too. So that's interesting in the case of water. Huh.